Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here at Crypto Nation. Here's another episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. If you get a chance, hey, subscribe and hit the like button for post notifications. Thanks again to my recently new subscribers. And the title of this video is called Crypto Holders. Everyone is so wrong about this market. And let's just sit back and see what they're talking about here.
I'm curious. I mean, you've got Bitcoin, you've got Ether, you're leading the market there. Are you done? Are we going to see a BlackRock Solana ETF?
Big news today involving Solana, involving XRP.
The judge wrote, XRP is not a security.
Lower cap altcoins.
We are mining Caspa in addition to Bitcoin.
Watch today's whole video, but we got to start with Bitcoin. As Bitcoin again near $60,000 as the crypto bounce accelerates. People are asking why.
Morgan Stanley is the largest wealth management firm, I guess, in the world at this point, but certainly in the United States. They've got 15,000 registered reps who were just given the green light to buy two different Bitcoin ETFs. One is Fidelity's and the others is the iShares product.
And yes, we spoke about the significance of Morgan Stanley in yesterday's video. This accelerates adoption in a big way.
I don't know if they will necessarily adopt it at a high rate or very quickly, but what I do know is this is like the last taboo. When large wealth management firms, big investment banks on Wall Street are giving the green light to their wealth management advisors to allocate, it's only going to be a matter of time before it gets more traction, and that would be my bet. So I think Bryn is making a good move here. The price could do anything in the next 24 hours. I have no idea if it's a great price to buy, but just directionally, we know that more adoption, not less, is what's going to be likely in the next 6 months.
So here are all the wirehouses that are ranked by advisory assets. And Morgan Stanley has just become the first wirehouse to be able to start offering Bitcoin ETFs. Wells Fargo is expected to be next. But in terms of where the Bitcoin price is headed, 2 days ago, everybody was screaming further collapse, expect a recession. Obviously, the US Treasury had to step in. Now, the sentiment seems to be changing bullish to truly get a sense of where this price will be in the short term. It all comes down to macro.
Well, I think you got to look at the facts that we actually have, which is...
Peter Krause of Aperture Investors explains where we really are, taking stock of the macro climate today.
One, for the last, 3 or 4 weeks before the sell-off, the Mag 7 stocks were actually reasonably unstable. You know, they became much more volatile. They showed significant moves, daily moves. And then we had this economic number. Unemployment went from 4.1 or 4.2 to 4.3, and everybody thought the world was coming to an end. Right. Of course, 3 days later, we got ISM numbers, and the ISM numbers, which were supposed to be contractions, actually showed expansion. And of course, all of a sudden, the world just decided that we're in a recession, it's a hard landing, and you have to sell everything. Really, what I think is going on is that the market is kind of non-directional right now, meaning there's not a lot of natural buying in the market or natural selling, and investors are trying to wait to see what actually is happening in the economy. Or if you look at earnings, you have some earnings that are strong and some earnings that are weak. It's not a consistent story. There are some industries that are weaker, auto, being one, but there's some industries that are actually doing pretty well. So I think what's happening is that momentum is taking over and people are selling the positions they have. They feel mispositioned in a market that's obviously volatile. And so you're getting these big daily moves. I think we're likely to see that probably continue until September.
And what happens in September?
So about 45 more days until the Fed has a chance to lower rates.
Well, the Fed's going to say something or do something.
And the economy is on pins and needles on how big the rate cuts will need to be.
Okay, but let's assume that they cut by 25 basis points. Mm-hmm. How does the market react to that? And let's assume that they cut by 50 basis points. How does the market react to that?
Every year I ask myself, what are the top 4 or 5 skill sets that I need to compete and dominate today? What could be important today?
So I think we have to add a few more assumptions. Let's assume, first of all, take the 50 basis points. Let's assume they cut by 50 basis points, and you continue to see weaker economic data.
Okay.
I think the market will conclude, actually, this is not a soft landing, it's a hard landing.
And there's even a bigger problem at hand.
There's a bigger underlying issue that people haven't recognized, and I think the market will sell off. But by the way, that will create a buying opportunity because then you're sort of at the end. If they cut by 25 basis points and we see this sort of good data, bad data, but kind of in a modest direction, then we're either going to continue with this volatility or the market will conclude they're going to make it's a soft landing.
So long-term bullish, anything possible short-term, and fundamentally, Ripple just had a major victory. $125 million fine for Ripple. Judge Torres officially ends the SEC lawsuit with the conclusion officially XRP is not a security. And if this all sounds familiar, this is the official extension, or I should say conclusion. This is the conclusion to what we saw a few months ago.
The SEC clearly lost as a matter of law, and the judge wrote, XRP is not a security, as a kind of intrinsic thing. In certain circumstances, which is kind of a narrow definition around institutional sales, it could be a security.
So the case is officially closed, and I'm sure the SEC will refer to this as a win for getting $125 million penalty from Ripple. But that's really a win for Ripple as far as James Seyffart is concerned, and an L for the SEC's regulation via enforcement stance. The SEC did not get what they want, and in the statement from Brad Garlinghouse, the SEC asked for $2 billion, and the court reduced their demand by about 94%, recognizing that they had overplayed their hand. We respect the court's decision and have clarity to continue growing our company, so that explains why XRP was up over 17% in the last day, beating Bitcoin's gains. Although just be prepared, an appeal by the SEC is expected, potentially extending the legal proceedings. And in Solana news, Solana ETF approved by Brazilian SEC. So this is a spot Solana ETF. And following its approval by the Brazilian regulator, the ETF is in a pre-operational phase, awaiting approval by the Brazilian stock exchange B3. This will be demand pressure on the asset, of course, not as big as US approval, but this is still a small and significant victory in the same steps we saw before the Bitcoin ETF was approved in America, the Ethereum ETF was approved in America. They have usually gotten approved in Brazil first, then Canada, then the US. And Kaspa hash rate is going insane right now, meaning more and more miners are supporting the network.
And we're also very focused on diversifying our business. And this is where our business becomes more resilient than your pure play Bitcoin miner. Right? We are mining Kaspa in addition to Bitcoin. Why should we mine Kaspa? Well, on a per kilowatt basis, we earn more mining Kaspa than we do Bitcoin. It's not to say we're going to abandon mining Bitcoin. It simply means that we found other revenue streams that generate higher margins that allow us to subsidize our cost to mine Bitcoin, subsidize our SG&A costs, and even acquire Bitcoin in the marketplace, like we did a few weeks ago when we went in the market and bought $100 million of Bitcoin at the last dip. And so we are very opportunistic. We love to accumulate Bitcoin.
And a few of you are asking me about this, so I want to cover. If you have a different altcoin, comment down below. I want to cover in future videos. But Hamster Combat teases new details about largest airdrop in crypto history. The update comes a week after Hamster Combat surpassed 300 million players. Now, the two big reasons this crypto game has blown up, is blowing up, is number one, it's a casual game. It's a viral tap to earn game. I mean, literally, you're just tapping the screen and earning token. And two, it's a Telegram-based mobile clicker game, meaning because it's in the Telegram ecosystem, it has instant distribution, as easy as sending a text message. But the news today is this: airdrop points. All the activities that users do by playing Hamster Combat convert into airdrop points. Every single thing is important. The way you play, your social activity, earning keys, all your points will be taken into account, and the airdrop will be distributed according to each player. So just something to keep on the radar. And in a direct quote from the Hamster Combat team, the upcoming Hamster airdrop is set to be the largest in crypto history, and we don't have any venture capital investors. The only way to get the token is to play. I honestly have not played this game yet. I honestly don't want to spend all day just clicking a screen, but I'll always keep you up to date so you have all the information you need. Anybody looking to hang out next week at Rare Evo Conference in Vegas, this is the time of our keynote. Right after Charles Hoskinson's, I hope you come out, hang out, link down below for 5% off. And next month in Singapore at the Marquee, a hot venue at Singapore at Token 2049. Register now for one of the most epic side events at Token 2049 in September. This is essentially a party from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Going to be so much fun. Link down below. Highly encourage you to register early. And like always, see you tomorrow.
We've got about 50 million followers. We're in the billions of views, and we're a small team.
All right, so that concludes that episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. Tell me what you think on that episode. And as of right now, Bitcoin is up 6.2%. We got it at 60K. Let's see what happens over the weekend. Let's see if we can get if this altcoin pump can start for August. It's now today is August 9th, and we're gonna see how everything goes over the next few weeks in crypto. But like I said, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button for post notifications. Hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.